Good morning, everyone. If you're tuning in live with us here at 7:25 a.m., good morning to you, and thank you for joining News in Motion. Today is Wednesday, June 5th, 2024, and we have What to Know Wednesday. It's not a workshop Wednesday, it's What to Know Wednesday. But before we get started with that, just a little bit of information heading your way. Tomorrow we will have our annual Town Hall Thursday segment, but that will be for tomorrow. If this is your first time tuning into News in Motion, we just want to say thank you. If you're catching a replay, whether that be in the afternoon, the evening, or near the nighttime, we just want to say thank you for tuning in and supporting News in Motion the way that you do. For our audio and podcast listeners, thank you for turning those dials to NIM today. Make sure that you are keeping your eyes on the road. But if you are stationary and you have the chance to talk with us in the chat, please do so. But please keep your eyes on the road as well. We can also be found on LinkedIn or YouTube let me find the link real quick. We can be found at YouTube at www.youtube.com/GailDudley.com. You can join us live over there or through LinkedIn. And again, we have What to Know Wednesday. But before we get started, a few shout outs for our viewers. Good morning to you, Miss Shirley Nicholson. Good morning, Miss Marion Jackson. Good morning, Miss Sardinia. Good morning, Miss Deborah Johnson. Good morning, Miss Adrian. And good morning to my father, Mr. Fred Jones. So, without further delay, you know what we do over here. We'll be right back after this brief intro.
News in Motion.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How are you doing on this Wednesday morning? Today is Wednesday, June the 5th, 2024. I am your host, Gail Dudley. Thank you for hanging out with us and joining in. I see you all rolling up in here, as well as everyone that's on the audio podcast as well. So Shirley, Marion, Sardinia, Deborah, Adrian, Fred, and good morning to you, Jeffrey Payne. We have a lot of news. This is What to Know Wednesday. We're going to do our best to cover as much of it as possible. And as you know, the news cycle continues. So things that I was going to talk about today, I'm no longer talking about today. So I will at least share with you that where you can find the information, which will be in our Friday rundown. If you want to dig deeper into some of the articles and news headlines that we share, I would encourage you to please sign up for the Friday rundown. You can go to www.gaildudley.com to sign up for the Friday rundown. It comes out almost every Friday. August, don't worry, you'll have a break. July, you may have a break there as well. But that's where all of our content is. And including additional content beyond the morning news show. I see you, Dr. Antoinette. I see you, Hester. Good morning to the two of you as well. So, y'all, we have a lot that's going on. The other ways you can find out some of the stuff that I'm doing here, thank you. Some of the ways I'm doing things here is to follow me on my Instagram, which is at Gail Dudley. So my Instagram is the @ Gail Dudley, just as my name is spelled on the screen. And those of you who are listening by audio, that's GAIL, D as in David, U, D as in David, LEY. You can also find me on Medium, which is gaildudley.medium.com. You can find articles there, but truly, if you go to the Friday rundown, you'll get it all. You'll get it all. So again, thank you for hanging out with us. I see you, Kim Edmondson, rolling up in here. All right, y'all, last week, we had a great Wednesday. We went 45 minutes over because I gave you a 90-minute presentation in 45 minutes. And the way I was able to do that was because we weren't like in a classroom going back and forth. So I was able to condense it, but to give you the full thing. Those of you who stayed on with us till the end, you received the PDF, and many of you have been asking for a copy of the PDF because you've seen the information on the YouTube and you want to participate. So you now have an opportunity to do that. You can go to the link that Isaiah is going to put in the chat and the link he's going to put up on the screen. And that's where you can download the digital document, the PDF of Know Your Worth. It was a whole piece about Money Pit and running your business or being an author or an artist or whatever. And it will also be in the chat as well. Now, there is a fee associated with that digital PDF. The fee is $5. Come on, seriously, y'all. Call it the $5 holler. So it will also be in the chat as well, so that you can get your copy of that. Now, I am leaving that up there for $5. I'm leaving it up there until probably a couple weeks, and then a couple weeks I'll then put the real price on it. Okay, so just letting you all know. So many of you have asked about it. You said the content was great. And then, as always, if any of you want to go further, you can schedule a one-on-one with me as well. And you can do that by going to my website. All right, y'all. So now that all of those things are out the way, let's talk about what's happening. Y'all, in Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, the Attorney General files felony charges against attorneys aid who worked for Trump in 2020. AP Scott Bauer did an amazing report. He talked about felony forgery charges were filed in Wisconsin on Tuesday against 2 attorneys and an aide who helped submit paperwork falsely saying that the former President Trump had won the battleground state in 2020. Now, y'all, the state charges are the first to come in Wisconsin and follow separate charges brought in Arizona, as well as Michigan, Nevada, Georgia, related to this entire fake electors scheme. So, y'all, the charges were brought against Trump's attorney in the state, Jim Tropis, age 62, and attorney Kenneth Cheeseborough. Y'all remember him in a lot of the January 6th conversation, who's 62, who was advising the campaign, as well as Mike Roman, age 51, who was Trump's director of Election Day operation. Now, y'all, Mike Roman allegedly delivered Wisconsin's fake elector paperwork to a Pennsylvania congressman staffer in order to get the then Vice President Mike Pence on January 6, 2020. So a lot is continuously unfolding in this. Now, y'all, all 3 are due to Dane County Circuit Court on September the 19th, according to the court records. They can face one felony count punishable up to 6 years in prison and fines up to $10,000. I see you, Lori. Good morning to you. So, y'all, a lot of that is still unfolding. As we know, things are progressively moving in Arizona as well as in Michigan. So all of this is unfolding. Kim Edmondson says the house of cards is falling. That was my exact thought last night when I was going through a lot of this. So on top of that, I'm sure by now you've heard this. Again, I've had to move some things around with news continuously coming in. I had the opportunity to sit in on the press briefing yesterday, virtually, of course. But you all are hearing about the asylum and this executive order was coming out of the Biden administration when it comes to the southern border. I'm sure you've been hearing bits and pieces and parts of it, but I also have the fact sheet in hand that's coming directly out of the West Wing. I love saying that, the West Wing. So y'all, in this fact sheet, on yesterday, and I shouldn't say orders, actually an executive action, because he's still putting all the onus on Congress to actually do something. And this is to bar migrants who cross the southern border unlawfully from receiving asylum. So these actions will be in effect when high levels of encounters at the southern border exceed the ability to deliver timely consequences, as in the case of what they were unfolding on yesterday. They will make it easier for immigration officers to remove those without a lawful basis to remain and to reduce the burden of the Border Patrol agents. Now, what was clear in this fact sheet, and I'm going to read it as a quote, it says, "But we must be clear, this cannot achieve the same results of congressional action, and it does not provide the critical personnel and funding needed to further secure the southern border. Congress still must ask." So they're still putting the onus on Congress to act and to do something. As we all know, there was a bipartisan bill, a bill that actually came from one of the most conservative senators in the Senate. And because the former guy decided he wanted to run on the border, they squashed it all. They just squashed it. So the Biden administration did what you call a backdoor deal and came out and said, "This is what we're going to do." So there's something in place there, and the things that they have been asking for, and I'm not necessarily trying to cause a division here, but this is the truth. These are facts. The GOP, especially those in the House, are now pushing back on this executive action, saying that they wouldn't pass this bill and they wouldn't pass that bill. This is the exact same thing that y'all said y'all wanted to do. So y'all pay attention to the rhetoric, to the language, and what's really happening, and understand when they're playing politics. Dr. Antoinette said, "Are we to believe the northern border is perfect?" Let's say that. Hey, Latrice Jones. Hey, I got a funny for her, but I won't tell you online. And Kim Edmondson said was that she's co-signing with Dr. Antoinette. So there's so much that's happening. What's up, Roseanne Bivens? Haven't seen you in a while. So glad that you're joining us this morning. So much is unfolding on that. I have actually reached out. Isaiah can let you know I was on my phone this morning reaching out to a counterpart of mine, someone who I know who's been at that border. I'm trying to get her to join me tomorrow, excuse me, for Town Hall Thursday. I've tried to get her on here before, but she gets her children to school. And now that school's out, I'm like, hey, because she had sent me a message a couple weeks ago saying, hey, anything after June 3rd, I'm free. So I'm like, it's after June 3rd. So hopefully she can join me tomorrow. So if y'all, any of you praying people out there, y'all can pray. So then we can hear firsthand what's really happening. So her name is Heidi. Hopefully she can join us tomorrow. And y'all, their new actions, they're talking about the Department of Justice, of Homeland Security, launched a recent arrival docket. They talked about the process. They talked about the bipartisan border agreement. What I'm going to do, whether Heidi's able to join us or not, I will make sure that this fact sheet is in the Friday rundown on this coming Friday. Now, the reason I share this, I do want to talk about this piece, if y'all don't mind. They're also talking about seizing fentanyl at the border. And I piped up when they were talking about this on the other day, because it says border officials have seized more fentanyl at ports of entry in the last 2 years than the past 5 years combined, which means there's an increase there. And the president has added 40 drug detection machines across points of entry to disrupt the fentanyl smuggling into the homeland. The bipartisan border agreement would fund the installation of 100 additional cutting-edge inspection machines to help detect fentanyl at our southern border ports of entry. So I thought that was really interesting when they were talking about that and the machines that they use and what they're doing on a regular basis. So again, the bipartisan proposal, the legislative proposal that was submitted by a very conservative senator, should have been already signed into law, and we wouldn't even need an executive action. But because we're playing politics, now we have this issue. Latrice Jones says, if you live in Franklin County, you may want to keep an eye on your tax bill that's due out soon. Oh, so we got a levy coming up. So pay attention to that as well. So y'all, this is the fact sheet from out of the White House. So we want to make sure we're paying attention to this and staying up on this. So I wanted to share that with y'all. Got so much coming out the White House, like for real, pages upon pages upon pages that I'm trying to keep us all up. And y'all know that's what we do here, and we slow walk it. We just don't want to hit something and keep going. This is all important. Why? Because these things are on the ballot. So again, I will not have an opportunity to talk about the small and medium-sized climate businesses because the news shifted so quickly. So this, along with a guidebook Yeah, it's a full guidebook coming out of the White House will be in the Friday rundown. Jeffrey Payne said the do nothing GOP. Listen, there's a lot that's going on and we have to pay attention. So let me keep going if there's no questions. Now, this story right here, I'm gonna have to be honest with y'all. I'm gonna do my best to get through this story without a lot of emotions. But if you know me, you know that's gonna be extremely difficult, okay? I'm sure by now on the news you've heard of this lavish lifestyle the lawmakers are living. And I'm like, what is happening? So I started digging into we're three reporters who really went deep. I'm praying for their safety. Of the Washington Post reported lawmakers expense millions in 2023. It's borderline billion. $1 billion under this new program that doesn't require receipts. Now, if y'all know anything about lawmakers, if you know anything about hanging out with lobbyists, if you know anything about expense reports, this is brand new because you could not go over a certain amount of money without having all the documentation and all the receipts. Well, they did away with that, okay? Y'all, more than 300 lawmakers were reimbursed at least $5.2 million. Now, this is just 300. We're not talking about the other ones yet, okay? For food and lodging while on official business in Washington last year under a new tax. I want y'all to pipe up and hear this. Y'all, these are our tax dollars at work under a new taxpayer-funded program that does not require them to provide receipts. Say what? I mean, seriously, I worked in corporate America. I've worked in nonprofit America. If you, whatever, $25, $5, $10, you had to submit receipts to show that it was work related. Driving to and from, mileage, you had to report that. Where were you going? Who did you meet with? How long was the meeting? How many people were involved? There were detailed forms. And many corporations have the same thing today. But lawmakers, you spending this kind of money and you don't have to pay for it. Seriously, you don't have to submit any report. We paying for this lavish lifestyle. And you don't have to tell us why or how you spent the money. Are we serious right now? I'm sorry, stop. Mosley, isn't that her name? I might have her last name wrong. Come on in here, Dr. Antoinette, because I'm saying it off the top of my head. Didn't she just get on house arrest because she used her own money in the bank to do what she was doing? Do I have a clear understanding of that? Latrice Jones says, who established the program? Why are the taxpayers funding this? Listen, who passes legislation? I love y'all. This is what I'm talking about, Marion, really, so they can make up what they spend to get reimbursed, make this make sense. Listen, so let me keep going since y'all so interested in this. Y'all, listen, get ready because y'all about to be pissed. Okay, and I said that word on the digital platform. The program, which kicked off last year after a House panel, it was the House panel who passed the bill, and it was with bipartisan support. Latrice says they should be a maximum on these reimbursements. Listen, hold on, girl, you can really be upset, Latrice. So if you drive and just pull over, Well, you shouldn't be typing and driving, so I'm sure you're not driving. Y'all, was intended to make it easier for lawmakers to cover the cost of maintaining a separate home in D.C. Why we gotta make something easy if you're not working anyway? Why are we making this easier for you? But critics argue that its reliance on the honor system and lack of transparent record keeping makes it ripe for abuse. I would agree with that. But they went on and did it anyway. So let's get here. I gotta open up this document. I'm about to blow y'all away. 5.2 in food and lot. Like, what are y'all drinking and what are y'all eating? What are y'all doing? So let's go here. The rule applies to every member, okay? The reimbursement of the 435 voting members of the House, 319 members 153 Democrats, 166 Republicans received reimbursement. So not everybody received reimbursement for some of the food and lodging expense last year, alongside 3 delegates from U.S. territories. So now we even include the delegates. Okay. The other 116 members received no money from the reimbursement program. So we want to we like y'all 116 people. Now, according to the data, now Matt Gaetz is fighting back. They're saying that maybe he wasn't the one. Maybe it's really Jack Bergman who. So they have Matt Gaetz with nearly $30,000 in lodging expenses and more than $10,000 for meals in 2023. What you eating? Like, what are you eating? And now they said yesterday that it was Jack Bergman from Michigan who was actually the top. He came in at $32,000. Okay, so $2,000 more to Jack. So Jack kind of beat out Matt Gaetz here for lodging and nearly $12,000 in meals for 2023. What are you eating? Like, what are you eating? Y'all don't have McDonald's in DC? Like, I just want to know. Now, a spokesman, of course, came out for Matt Gaetz and was trying to justify why he had this type of expense. But now listen, now there's members who own homes, okay, in the DC area. Patrick McHenry, Mike McCall, and others, Jim Banks and others. Now, they own $1 million homes, okay, $1 million homes in Virginia. That's about the cost of a home. Okay. But they were reimbursed still about $1,500 each month. If you live there and this is your house, why are you getting $1,500 a month? You live there for lodging. Make it make sense, people. These are the questions I keep telling you about town hall meetings that we need to be asking. This is our money. Okay. Adrian says, why hasn't Gaetz been tried for his crimes against underage girls? There's that. Marion says, why make it easier on them using taxpayer money? There's that. Dr. Antoinette says, was the no receipt thing pushed through around the same time as we found out about Clarence Thomas? That's a great question. Latrice Jones says, this is for 1 year. Hell to the nah. Yes, 1 year, 2023. Marion said, what will they do if asked for receipts to justify what they were reimbursed? Great question. Kim Edmondson says, there is no justification for that amount of expense. I'm with all of you. These are the questions we need to be asking y'all. Do not become distracted with everything else that's going on. Where's our tax dollars going? And you want to increase the taxes on us? You want us to file taxes? You want us to pay taxes? But you spending this kind of money as a lawmaker who's already making 6 figures? Come on, y'all. Yesterday I was sharing how they cut the funds for elderly and low income housing. Although the energy bill is going to go up, we're talking $719 that people cannot afford. So they cut $3 billion from that fund, but they're using this type of money for lavish expenses. Y'all, we need to be asking the tough questions. I'm not just up here saying this to be saying this, y'all. We need to be following up and asking questions. Y'all, this is our job. It really is. We are putting these people in office, even if we're not voting for them. They're still accountable to us. Like, where's this money going? Can you imagine, wherever you work, can you imagine turning in that kind of expense report? They'd be like, girl, what you eat? Normally, isn't it like $40 per diem? I'm sure I've been out of corporate for a minute, but it can't be any more than 50. Because I remember even traveling like, what you want me to eat? Some popcorn, some potato chips, get some water out of the water fountain? This doesn't make sense, but this is how they're living. This is how they're living. Jeff Payne said, what in the world? Getting overpaid to do nothing. But y'all, I ain't done. Oh, y'all, listen. Representative Nancy Mace, Republican from South Carolina, and Eric Swalwell, Democrat from California, requested significantly higher reimbursements during some of the months in 2023. Yeah, I'm fair and balanced, Republicans and Democrats alike. Mace Nancy Mace, who co-owns a $1.6 million Capitol Hill townhouse. It ain't even a house, it's a townhouse. She purchased in 2021 with her then fiance, Patrick Bryant. Yeah, Patrick, you got thrown under the bus too. Your name's in here too. Expense a total of $19,395 over 9-month period ending September 30th, 2023. That's an average of more than $2,000 a month for living. But you got a home. So what did you go decide to stay in a hotel one night? Like, help me make this make sense. Hester says, yes, it can be more than 50, 60 and up. It depends on the state. Okay, that's good. But is it 1,500? Like, what are you eating? And then we have, y'all, I said I wasn't going to get all excited, didn't I? But I had to come back down. But this just irks me. This irks me. Y'all don't want to help people, elderly people in hot places have some air conditioning. Or you don't want to pay their electric bill and they're on a fixed income. Like, or you won't even help veterans who went and gave their lives, their family members gave their lives for us. Are you serious? So let me calm down. She also expensed over another $3,000 for lodging this January. You live there. Like, what happened? You couldn't get home? Like, what is going on? Where did you stay for $3,000, Nancy? Where did you? And I'm not talking Pelosi. I'm talking Mace at the moment. Then you got Swalwell, y'all, who purchased a $1.2 million home in Eckrington neighborhood of Washington. Y'all, he was nearly reimbursed. Y'all get this, $19,000 for lodging. You got a home there. Like, like what? Y'all just decide, you know what, I'm not going to hit the traffic, so I'm going to just go over here and stay at the whatever place, and I'm going to just sleep here for the next couple of nights. What? Like, make it make sense for me, y'all. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So, y'all, then over 11 months, okay, so that was over 11 months, the $19,000. In May of that year, he received an additional $2,838 for lodging reimbursement. You live there. So help me understand. You have a home. You putting up family members? What are you doing? Y'all, these are the questions that we need to be asking as voters. Seriously. So I ain't done. I told y'all, be ready. So Swalwell owned about $1,100 per month. Oh, excuse me, $1,100 per month in taxes and insurance alone. Now, he declined to answer, was his reimbursement going to that? Now, again, he a Democrat, okay, from California, who owns a home in Washington, who is now being questioned. Listen, and this is what's happening. I just want to make this very clear because I thought this is really odd, the time this is coming out. Well, homie got hit for election interference, affectionately known as Buttercup, for election interference, and he got 34 counts. He's guilty. He getting ready to get sentenced on July the 11th. We don't know which way it's going to go. Now, all of a sudden, this came out like everybody's spending money. All of y'all need to be in jail. Yeah, all of you. Seriously. If we got to pay taxes, you got to pay taxes. Or we just all don't pay taxes. Like, make up your minds. We cannot have rules for one and not rules for the other. What are we going to do? Seriously, what are we going to do? Y'all, this is opportunity for some serious grassroots movements. Like serious grassroots movements. But you have to be willing to handle the fire if you start a movement like this. Marianne says, typo, they are helping themselves at our expense. At our expense, yes, Jeffrey Payne, corporate greed. Kim Edmondson says, they know that most people are not paying attention to the money. You're right, because we're paying attention to everything else that's out there. We're not zoning in on what's really happening. All right, so y'all want some more? Y'all want some more? Now, Nancy Mace was told by people involved in her office finances that she could not justify claiming more than about $1,800 a month for expenses, which means she cannot figure out where the rest of it went. Say what? That you're managing. I just want y'all to hear this. Please follow me. These people in the house, all 435 of them, they're called, they have the power of the purse. Y'all know what that is, right? Y'all went to history class, social studies in high school, right? They have the power of the purse, which means they manage our money, the taxpayer money for the country. If you cannot account for $1,800, how are you accounting for 18 billion or 18 trillion or whatever amount y'all are handling in that chamber? If you can't tell me what you done spent on $1,800, you definitely can't tell me what you spent on 18 trillion. Like, make it make sense, y'all. These are the questions that we cannot be afraid to ask. Seriously. Fred Jones, you're right. Help the veterans. Y'all, I ain't done. One source showed that the Washington Post a document laying out Nancy Mace's monthly expenses for the townhome and calculating them at about $1,700. Yeah. So they riding her. They riding her because she went way in. Now, y'all, they also found, get this, and this is in quotations, that we followed all the rules for reimbursement, said a spokeswoman for Mace, who said the office found $300,000 in other savings last year related to the reimbursement program. Well, what's the $300,000 for? And where was it saved? And where was it accounted to? And whose account is it in? Can y'all, we got to pray for these reporters for the Washington Post because they uncovered some stuff. Y'all can't even get through all of this. I can't get through it. Y'all do know, just in case for those of you like, well, you know, they're service people and they're just work. No, they make six figures, $174,000 a year. They don't pay for health insurance. They don't pay for a lot, okay? And they just say, free for all? Y'all, where's their accountability? Where's their accountability? These are the questions I want to ask. Jeffrey Payne says, want to take away Social Security from the elderly. That's what they want to do. Yes, please. Latrice, I'm trying, girl. I'm trying to ask the questions up in here. Yes, Kim Edmondson, make it make some sense. So, y'all, the bipartisan House Select Committee on the modernization of Congress. So they're trying to just modernize everything. So we got to get with the time. You're not with the times because we, the people of these United States of America, we don't live like that. We don't. And we want y'all to go in there. We want you to get paid. We want you to have fair pay. We understand housing in D.C., Virginia, parts of Maryland. You went, the lower level is $1 million. We get it. And we want you to be able to live. But some of you got 3, 4, 5 houses. You got a nanny. You have the maids, the butler, the cook, the drivers. You have all those things. You have healthcare. We want you to be healthy. And we're not hating on you. We want you to be. But can this be fair and equal? Like, stop saying that y'all can't even increase minimum wage. You that greedy that you cannot increase minimum wage? Yo, these are the questions we need to be asking. You can't take care of our veterans. You can't take care of our seniors. I just reported yesterday, y'all cut $3 billion from the fund. You're helping 1 million people less when it comes to their energy savings. So they don't even have the money to pay for their electric bill. But you're cutting that, but you're spending this. Y'all having a party over here. Y'all having a party over here. Y'all, it can go on and on and on. But I just want y'all to know. I just wanted y'all to know. I thought it was important that y'all knew what's actually happening in the United States Congress, the 118th Congress. That's what's currently happening. Okay, seriously. Yeah. Kim Edmondson says, we the people do not live like that. Jeff Payne says, yeah, they need to pay taxes. Lori says they don't want that stuff on the ballot for the people to decide. Jeffrey Payne said, give us more, sis. Listen, y'all, I read this and I was just like, what is going on today? Like, we want to focus on Marjorie Taylor Greene. We know she's crazy. We know she's all the way nuts. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. 100. The 6 Bs. Okay, but but here's the thing: we were watching her and all her shenanigans while they're over here spending money, our money, while they're spending our money. Yes, Rosanna Eve agreed. On top of that, since we're talking about money, I might as well keep going, right? Y'all, I don't know if y'all seen this. The Associated Press did a great piece on it, as well as a couple of us. I love the Associated Press. And y'all know we are aggregated news, which means we're pulling from all the different news sources and alerts that we receive. We're getting them firsthand as a journalist and as a digital news media platform. And so we go through them. We do the fact check. We're checking out before we bring it to you, because I need to make sure my stuff is checked out. Fact check, double check, triple check before I bring it to you. So I'm looking at everything and I decide what I'm pulling and how I'm putting together the script. So this one fit right here behind all the money. Because if y'all going after her, y'all need to go after these people in Congress. So y'all feds seek a woman who left a bag of $120,000 at the home of a juror with the promise of more. What? Yeah, y'all, federal authorities in Minnesota have confiscated cell phones and taken all 7 defendants into custody as investigators tried to determine who attempted to bribe a juror with a bag of cash containing $120,000 to get her to acquit them on charges of stealing more than $40 million from a program meant to feed children during the pandemic. Say what? Are you kidding me? So you're trying to bribe a juror by giving this juror $120,000. They put it on her doorstep. They used her name, yes, to get this person to vote their way. Now, y'all, the case went to the jury last Monday afternoon after the juror who promptly reported the attempted bribe to police. Kudos to you. And I pray your protection, was dismissed and replaced with an alternate. They dismissed a juror and replaced them with the alternate. Kim Edmondson said, yes. So, y'all, according to the FBI agent affidavit, a woman rang the doorbell at the home of juror number 52 in the Minneapolis suburbs of Spring Lake Park late Sunday. Y'all, this just happened, okay? The night before the case went to the jury, the juror wasn't home, but a relative answered the door. The woman handed the relative a gift bag with a curly ribbon. Y'all gotta go Google it. It's a real pretty a gift bag with, like, you know how you take the time to do the ribbons with the scissors to make them curl. Y'all, I'm like, what is going on? Or where we lost our mind? Did the pandemic change us? Like, what is happening? Yeah, y'all, the juror wasn't home, gave the woman the bag with the ribbon, and said it was a present for the juror. The woman told the relative to tell juror number 52 to say not guilty tomorrow. What? You didn't plan this very well, did you? Y'all, so this is happening. So, y'all, people, there's greed. I'm lost for words with so much of this. I am lost for words. And still talking about money, before we get up out of here, y'all, the cost of your next flight is probably going to increase by far. I'm like, well, you're already telling me I got to pay $800 to get to Atlanta. No, I'm going to drive and make it so much cheaper. I've never paid that much to go to Atlanta. I don't think I paid more than $256 on a round trip air flight to Atlanta, Georgia. They're now saying it can cost all kinds of money. The cost of your next flight is likely to go up. They're just mad because Pete Buttigieg with the Department of Transportation and the Biden administration is like, y'all gonna stop charging these people all these fees. They're working for us. And then the airlines is like, we're gonna get our money. We're gonna charge you more for your bag, charge you more. And if you want some water, we're gonna be like Spirit Airlines and charge you for that too, for a cup of water. Yeah, that's where they're going. Y'all, the carriers recover from the grounding worldwide from the coronavirus pandemic. By the way, y'all say this, and that's your platform, but the government gave y'all all kinds of billions of dollars to survive the pandemic. And now, how many years later you want to come after us, the customer, the consumer who's paying, and you canceling flights, you losing luggage and all that stuff? Woo, y'all, this is where we live right now. So They're talking about jet fuel. They're talking about what they give. They're going to try to shrink the seats some more. It's like, you can't put another row in the plane. You can't. I'm already sitting with my knees up to my chest now for a 6-hour flight, for a 3-hour flight, for a 2-hour flight. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. But that's what's happening. So y'all be mindful of that. I'm going to skip that till tomorrow. Y'all be safe out here in the streets, y'all. As y'all know, Deadline's reporting that Sean Diddy Combs sells Stake and Revolt, the media company he founded, amid all these sexual assault allegations. Dude, you should be in jail. USA Today reports the 8-time Grammy-winning songwriter The Dream, who's worked with people like Beyonce and Rihanna, has been accused in a lawsuit of rape and trafficking. Y'all, follow your kids. See what they're doing. See who they are connecting with, who they're hooking up with. Check out and see what's happening there. And before I get out of here, before the inspirational message, y'all, standing ovation to Simone Biles. She won her 9th national all-round title last Sunday to close out the U.S. Gymnastics Championship in Fort Worth, Texas. She is now ready for her 3rd Olympics this summer in Paris. So kudos to you, Simone. So y'all, here's the inspirational message. Pay attention. I'm serious. So this is my call to action. This is the inspirational message to everyone. Pay attention. Do not get sidetracked. Do not get distracted. Do not find yourself in a whole bunch of noise. Pay attention. Even when you're in the middle of chaos, ask yourself, what am I missing? So that you can then zone into and get refocused on what the real thing is at hand, so that we can access the power that we have to make a difference. Y'all, seriously, there's so much that's going on. It makes me just, I'm in shock and awe. Like, I'm back to the lavishness of these lawmakers. We voted you to do a job. You haven't even been working. How many bills have you passed? Seriously. How much shenanigans are going? Y'all going after Dr. Fauci. Are y'all serious? You should be going after the man that said you should inject bleach. Let's start there, okay? Now, granted, Fauci said something that I said, really? When he said, if y'all been watching C-SPAN and watching all the transcripts and things that are coming out, they asked me, they said, okay, were the vaccines necessary or whatever? He said, yes. He said, initially they worked. We saw a decrease. He gave all the, his assessment, his facts, all of that with that. And they said, okay, but this past year, he said, well, they probably weaning off now. Like, it's now a part of our world, our culture, like the flu. You're still going to get the flu. There's some vaccines that will help you with the flu, and there's some that's not going to help you with the flu. So he said, and I was like, well, that's good to know. And then that makes me like, I only take the shot, like whatever that looks like and however that's going. So they talked about even the face mask. And did y'all see in North Carolina that their local Congress, they're trying to remove masks? Because of all the stuff that's happening, people now they're like, it's illegal to wear masks. Like, what? So we go from one extreme to the other? Are you serious about this? Like, what are we doing and why? So y'all, pay attention to what's at the root of so much that's going on. And if I can pray for you today, I just want to pray that you are protected, that your eyes are able to see supernaturally, that your ears are able to distinguish the truth from what's false, what's fake, that your heart will be able to receive those who really need your help, your love, your prayers. I also pray that you are surrounded by God's protective angels, that when things may try to come to attack you from the north, south, east, or west, no weapon, they won't be able to form against you. Nothing will be able to shatter that protective frame that you have all around you. I'm also praying for our mind. Y'all, in this season, a lot could go on. We can become very concerned, but I'm praying that through our mind, that we will be strengthened, that we won't have mental episodes, that we will be able to operate in a calmness way, and we will be able to utilize critical thinking before we respond. That's my prayer for you. My prayer for Congress, for the administration, regardless of party, is that you really will have the heart of the people and not the heart of your own and what you want. And that you would consider, well, if I'm operating with $18 trillion, what's going to be best for my constituents and for this world and for this community? And how do I pour into them? That's my prayer today, y'all. I can give you news and we can get really emotional about it and I can become very passionate about it. But when I take a step back, I'm saying, what are we going to do differently here? Yesterday, I shared with y'all Fearless Fund out of Atlanta, how the Supreme Court ruled them giving $20,000 grants to Black women as a discriminatory practice. That has bothered me and is still bothering me because no one else is giving us the money. No one else is giving us the money. So what are we to do? Is this their chess board where they're taking us out one by one? And I'm not saying everybody, but there's a plan out here. And if y'all have not read Project 2025, that was in the Friday rundown, I would encourage you to Google it. Make sure you're Googling the right one so that you can read it. Y'all, Project 2025 is real. Is real. And it all depends on who is in the administrative offices come January 20th, 2025. Y'all, it's real. It is real. Pay attention. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, but know what's happening. Even if that happens and Project 2025 does come into play, we should still be able to navigate and have conversation. We need to know the code language, whatever that is, so we understand and we can assist each other and we can help each other. Again, y'all, pour into Black and brown businesses. I'm not saying not to shop or pour into white businesses. There's a lot of white businesses that I support, but I also make it my platform to pour into Black and brown businesses. I'm always highlighting Black and brown people, and I do that intentionally. Why? Because we too need to be recognized. We too need to be lifted up. And I believe to some degree we have a responsibility. We have to get beyond that field and poverty mentality and really lift up one another. That is my plea today. That's my focus today. This news is here, but beyond all the news, okay, let's look at it and let's see, how do we move forward collectively and make a difference? All right, y'all, gone way over time. This has been News in Motion. I am your host, Gail Dudley. Y'all know what I say. Stay well. And remember, everyone, make some bold moves. We're out.
News in Motion.